In Chapter 1123, we see the 2-week gap created by Vegapunk. While most flashbacks in One Piece are based on someone's memories, this one is unique. It's a memory that no one in the One Piece world possesses. It's possible that there are other blank periods, like the Void Century, that only Joy Boy knows about. That aside, I felt that this chapter was packed with some of the most crucial elements of the One Piece story, such as the inherited will, the concept of death, and the significance of the One Piece itself, which represents everything in this world. These themes are likely to be central to the final saga, so let's take a moment to revisit them. On this channel, the Owener, who is a native Japanese speaker and also translates manga, analyzes and discusses One Piece. In fact, when reading Chapter 1123 in Japanese, you might notice some hidden humorous messages that Oda-sensei has cleverly tucked away. There's information in this video that you won't find anywhere else, so I hope you'll stick around until the end. By the way, I've been quite busy with other work recently, so I haven't had the chance to check out what others are saying about Chapter 1123. If you could share your thoughts in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. And if you do, I might just show you a little something from Stussy. I received a request from one of our Patreon members asking for the correct nuance of this scene in the Japanese version, so I'll provide a direct translation from the Japanese text. I didn't feel any hostility. Is his Haki even stronger than Shanks? This means that when Emeth released Joy Boy's Haki, it didn't intimidate the giants. As revealed in the SBS, a Master of Conqueror's Haki can choose who to intimidate among those present, so this makes sense. But it raises an interesting question. Joy Boy wouldn't have known the exact situation in which Emeth would use his Haki. So what could explain this? I believe it works something like this. Joy Boy's Haki has a will of its own. We've seen hints of this before, like when Odin's Haki, infused in Enma, reacted to Hiyori's song, Tsukihime. This suggests that Haki itself can carry the will of the person who wields it. If we think of it this way, it also explains why the Haki only intimidated the 5 elders and the Marines, who were the main obstacles to Luffy's escape. In this section, Oda-sensei frequently teases Lilith, which carries a lot of significance. The fact that Lilith is suspected of being the culprit here is quite important. Lilith is a satellite created from the evil aspect of Vegapunk. The word Aku is closely tied to the theme of good and evil, which has been a major focus in recent One Piece chapters. In the current world of One Piece, pirates are generally considered evil. However, it's possible that Luffy, a pirate, might actually be the key to saving this world. On the other hand, the celestial dragons are driven by greed. They use the people of the world to satisfy all their desires, including the heinous act of kidnapping people from the surface to fulfill their sexual desires, which is silently condoned. In Japan, there's a term, Kenryoku-yoku, which refers to the desire for power. Even though the 20 kingdoms founded the current world government, the fact that Imu is the true leader suggests that they had a deep desire for absolute power over the world. It's likely that Imu from the Nerona family emerged victorious in that power struggle. I believe this highlights an important point. The pirates, labeled as evil, might not be the true villains. Instead, it's those driven by unbridled desire who are pushing the world towards danger. In other words, human desire can be an even greater threat than evil itself. Vegapunk recorded his voice and set up a system to automatically broadcast it to the world if he died. He then erased 2 weeks' worth of memories related to this plan. He mentioned that the worst possible outcome that is about to occur is, in fact, our victory. This phrase is reminiscent of something Shaka once said: the victory of Ohara. What Vegapunk is doing at Egghead is similar to what the scholars at Ohara accomplished. They achieved victory by ensuring their will would be passed on, even if they themselves perished. The scholars of Ohara saved countless documents by throwing them into the lake, preventing their destruction. These documents were then recovered by the giants led by Saul and are now preserved in Elbaf. Luffy and his crew are currently heading there. Similarly, Vegapunk entrusted the future of the Blue Planet to people by ensuring his voice would be heard by future generations. In this sense, we could say that Roger, who died heralding the dawn of the Great Pirate Era, and Whitebeard, who confirmed the existence of the One Piece and further accelerated the era, also achieved victory. The theme emphasized in the Egghead arc is that by dying, one can leave behind a will that future generations can carry on, and those who inherit it will bear the weight of history in their battles. In fact, several characters who entrusted the future to the younger generation are depicted throughout the Egghead arc. But Vegapunk had more than just his voice to leave behind for future generations. One of these things is the island cloud machine, Kumofuto. In previous videos, I mentioned the possibility that Sky Island might become a temporary refuge for the people of the One Piece world. And this seems even more likely now. However, that's not all Vegapunk intended to leave behind. He said, "There's one more thing we must not lose. It's Kumofuto." This seems to be a snippet from a conversation about something they must protect. The panels before and after are discussing entirely different topics, so it suggests that there's something else, besides Kumofuto, that they cannot afford to lose. Most likely, this refers to Vegapunk's brain, depicted in the earlier panels. Vegapunk once envisioned a world where people could access punk records and share knowledge globally. In the world of One Piece, the greatest significance of death is passing on your will to someone else. However, for Vegapunk, as long as his brain continues to function, his knowledge and will can live on through punk records. This ties into the question Shaka or Pythagoras raised in that scene. What defines death? If you're interested in the concept of death, I've discussed it in another video, so feel free to check it out. However, punk records is among the things Saturn is trying to retrieve. Since York, punk records, and the power plant are all still on Egghead, it's likely that Saturn plans to take them back to Mariajois. If that happens, there's a high chance that the ancient weapon attack using Mother Flame will be executed again. We might even see Lilith facing off against York to reclaim punk records or Mother Flame. In the final scene, Vegapunk tells Sanji that he wants the Straw Hat crew to obtain the One Piece. Getting the One Piece means acquiring everything in this world. While what it actually is remains unclear, it's evident that the fate of the world will be determined by whoever obtains it. Essentially, Vegapunk is saying that he wants to entrust the future of the world to Luffy and his crew. So why does he want the Straw Hats to get the One Piece? One major reason is that Luffy is the warrior of liberation, Nika. The importance of Nika to them was highlighted in Kuma's flashback. Luffy, who has awakened Nika's abilities, is the perfect candidate to free the people from the dark grip of the world government. Another reason is that Vegapunk recognizes that the protagonist of the story during the Void Century was the first pirate, Joy Boy. It's likely that Joy Boy, like Luffy, became a pirate in search of freedom. Vegapunk might have concluded that setting out to sea in pursuit of freedom would ultimately lead to the salvation of people around the world. Additionally, at the beginning of the Egghead arc, Shaka told Dragon during a conversation that he would probably die. I believe this statement came from Vegapunk realizing his own impending death after reading the letter he wrote during the 2-week gap. However, what they discussed earlier in the conversation remains a mystery. It's possible that Shaka was telling Dragon that in the upcoming global crisis, his son Luffy might be the one to lead and guide the people through it. Now, I'd like to share some of my thoughts on One Piece. At this point, it almost feels like it's a foregone conclusion that Luffy will obtain the One Piece. However, I think one of the characters might surprise us in a good way by subverting our expectations. In Chapter 1121, Vegapunk said, "It's not guaranteed that the person Joy Boy wants will be the one to obtain it." This seems like a clear hint that someone else might get the One Piece before Luffy does. It's also significant that Vegapunk specifically told Sanji that he wants the Straw Hats to get the One Piece. Sanji's father, Judge, is someone who harbored jealousy toward Vegapunk. Vegapunk is a pacifist, while Judge is the king of a nation that profits from war. On the other hand, Sanji has the spirit of serving food to anyone, regardless of who they are. This contrasts with Judge, who places great importance on his pride as a king. It's only natural that they, with views opposite to Judge's, would engage in such an important exchange. Plus, Sanji has already interacted with all the members of MADS. Now, let's get to the main point. Sanji's dream is to find the All Blue. I believe that whoever obtains the One Piece will gain the power to make that dream a reality. Before entering the Grand Line, the 5 core members of the Straw Hats each declared their goals. The order was Sanji, then Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Usopp. I think this order might reflect the sequence in which their dreams will be fulfilled. Yes, this means that Sanji's dream might be realized unintentionally by someone else who obtains the One Piece. I suspect that person could be Blackbeard. However, after that, Luffy will defeat Blackbeard and become the Pirate King. Zoro's duel with Mihawk to become the world's greatest swordsman and Nami's dream of drawing a world map could be events that take place after Luffy gets the One Piece. As for Usopp, his dream of being remembered as a great warrior of the sea will likely come true after his death, which is why his declaration was the last.